Hi, everyone. Good to see you or not. My name is Whitney Garrett, and I am sorry that I am not at our class today. Well, I'm kind of not sorry. I'm in Sonoma at the Leading for Equity National Equity Project Conference, and I'm super excited to be here. It goes hand in hand in what we're learning about in all of our admin credential classes, including this one, where we learn about budget. And so, yeah, that's where I am, not chilling, doing wine tasting. I am actually learning until 10 p.m. every night, and I just got here. It is Thursday. um, so the person that I interviewed for this project, his name is Charles Wilson, and he is the network deputy superintendent for my network in Oakland Unified School District. So there's a principal, and then there's the deputy superintendent, and then there is a superintendent. So he's kind of a big deal. It was really awesome to have even like 45 minutes of his time. And throughout that time, I learned a lot, not only about him, but about what it really means to have a fat versus lean budget, to create a buffer, to learn what best practices are in including your staff on your budget, but then also making difficult decisions without them, as leaders have to do so often. So, in speaking with Charles, the three priorities we went over, and he rattled them off rather quickly. The first one was to reduce class size. Do whatever you have to do to reduce class size. Number two, figuring out how to push acceleration within literacy. And then the third thing was particularly, it falls under the branch of culture and climate, but it is teacher collaboration, which is also instruction. So those are the three big rocks that he gave me. We did a lot of like brushing up on my understanding of discretionary funding, restricted versus unrestricted, base funding, Title I funding. And it was really cool to like rattle off these titles and say like, yeah, I know what that means. Can you show me a budget and what this means? And specifically with reducing class size, he broke down a lot of different ways and a lot of different types of funding that you can use to keep class sizes small. So specifically, he was talking about how to use Title I funding in a way that both allows parents and the community to be involved, but then also gets at your goals. So, for example, again, he brought up this idea of, well, if it's important to you as a principal and it's important to teachers, it's got to be important to the community. That way they can vote on it in the Title I funds and it be able to pass. And maybe you voted for pullouts and using Title I money to promote intervention for students and acceleration simultaneously. So it's just really interesting how the types of best practices Charles used were both innovative for the time or not, because it's the first time I learned about how to use this type of funding in this way, and then how it actually worked for kids. I forgot to mention that he was a principal at Korematsu Elementary School, Blue Ribbon School, California Distinguished School in Oakland, and it's still around today and still doing really great. The other really big thing was acceleration. He was really preaching the idea that every child needs acceleration. It's not about enrichment is a word that's used often in the same breath as intervention, right? What do those words really mean? Acceleration is his word of choice because it means, go faster, push through, just like you would in a car. He says he also doesn't use the word intervention because that comes from a deficit view, and it's really cool that he said that because we've been learning about these equity traps lately, especially in Diane's class. So when he said that, I was like, yes, flag, awesome. He was also talking about how to do this with the budget. So he talked about extended contracts for teachers. So, for example, I am a teacher. My union tells me that I only have to work 6 hours a day. But if I'm like, hey, I want to support the acceleration process, um, I can say that I want to do that, and then I can get paid my hourly rate for supporting students in a acceleration model, right? So paying teachers for doing extra work and then also meeting the need also has a capacity to transform culture and climate of the school and also push student achievement, which is the most important. In terms of, and I know I'm going over, I'm trying to hurry up. Um, the the other like really important thing, the last nugget was teacher collaboration. I think this is so important. Sharing the school budget is so important. Even if I don't know as a teacher what all these words are, what an FTE is, what a this is, what a that is, at least I saw it. At least I could ask questions. At least I know that I'm not being lied to. I shared this information with Charles, and he definitely agreed. And he said a best practice of his was to actually share the budget, not in a way where you could see what Whitney Garrett makes, what Lauren Garrett makes, what Tanya Sosoyev makes, what Grayson makes. As a whole, how much teachers make, how much we're spending on acceleration, how much we're spending on custodial staff, how much we get in LCFF funding, etc. So everyone can see what is allotted and why and how we will use it. Or how we've used it in the past, and then be able to show what we have in the beginning and say, hey, this is what we've been given from the district. What do you want to see? And is it in line with our vision and our mission? And is it going to build community and student achievement simultaneously? So that was really dope. Those are three major things. Again, we talked about a lot, which was dope. So it went more than 45 minutes. It was like an hour and 30 minutes. And he had so many phone calls, but he didn't take them because I was in the room, which is really great. Reducing class size was really important to him. Acceleration and literacy. Every child needs to learn how to read, write, think, speak, and act critically to be a great human. And then finally, teacher collaboration. Thanks, Professor Collins, for everything. Thank you for letting me miss class. Reflection is coming. Bye, guys. I learned a lot.